Hey everyone, Stacks here. Welcome to the channel. And today I am checking out Excalibur #2 by Tini Howard. You got Marcus Toe as the artist and Eric Arcianega as the color artist. But before we get started, if you haven't already, hey, please hit that subscribe button. Help me level up in this game of YouTube. And of course, if the video doesn't stink too bad, make sure you leave a like. Any interaction you have with the channel helps it grow, and I sincerely appreciate it. The book starts in the Atlantic Ocean, several miles off the coast of England. And you have Kitty Pryde. She is navigating a ship that contains the Excalibur team. Of course, we're talking the new Captain Britain. We're talking Gambit, Rogue, who is in her Krakoan flower state, whatever that is, and Jubilee. We find out that they're heading to the Excall-Braddock Lighthouse, or at least the location where it used to be before it was destroyed. And Kate is going back and forth, Kitty, Kate, whatever you want to call her, is going back and forth just saying, well, did they take the recommendations I put in? Did they build a hot tub? Did they put a hot tub in it? Well, when they come back, will we have a hot tub? And Gambit just kind of is like, look, I'm glad y'all are feeling so jokey. He's obviously concerned because his wife is sitting there in this weird floral state, which raises the question as to why he brought her on this trip. I don't know, but maybe we'll find out. Anyways, he makes it really clear that he's not in a joking mood after about the third or fourth joke. And he says, look, I'm really not in a joking mood, Kitty. And she comes back with, another smart aleck line. It's like, what's wrong with you? They shoot off another joke, at which point Gambit's like, what part of ain't in a joking mood do you not understand? And at that point, you get crazy webbed claw coming over the side. And the ship gets absolutely swarmed by these things called Selkies. And they're a mix of people and seals. So these crazy seal people, they assume are sent by Morgan Le Fay. And they go after Captain Britain. In order to save the ship, Captain Britain dives overboard and goes ahead and swims to land. From there, they end up taking the boat to the shoreline where Captain Britain is at. And Gambit makes the point that, look, I'm not leaving Rogue. So Captain Britain pulls her off the boat using her telekinesis and puts her down on the land. So they all get off the ship. Kitty Pryde takes off, and they're left there near this lighthouse, or where it's supposed to be. Has she always had telekinesis? Somebody let me know in the comments. So the seal people can't follow them on land for whatever reason, and they continue on their journey. They pick up Rogue, they're carrying her, and they come over the crest of this hill where the lighthouse is supposed to be, and Captain Britain is the only one that can see all these druids. So Betsy approaches them, and she's informed basically that, look, you're a seer. And then she's informed of the woman that we were introduced to in the epilogue of Excalibur #1. Her name is, wait for it, Mariana Stern. Anyways, basically we'll find out that there's bad guys from Akaba that are coming after them at some point. And then suddenly, while Rogue is sitting back there in the middle of this circle, a lighthouse made of earth basically appears underneath her with her at the pinnacle of it. Later, when everyone's moved inside the lighthouse, we start seeing some cracks in the armor of this team already. You have Betsy Braddock, who is very much focused on, going forward and finding Brian Braddock, which is understandable. You have Gambit, he's like, look, I'm not leaving Rogue here. And especially if this place is going to be left undefended. And you have Jubilee, who's wanting to go back to find the baby, Shogo. And so Betsy Braddock is already breaking out with it's all about Krakoa, isn't it? And Remy ain't pulling no punches. He's like, that's easy for you to say. Brian isn't in this realm for you to worry about. And so she just often goes to bed. But this team is already, as far as the interactions, very unlikable with each other. Let's make that worse when Apocalypse shows up later. Jubilee wakes up from her sleep. Apocalypse is standing there with Shogo. And she flips out and tries to attack him. And he's like, nope, I'm Apocalypse, bow down. And he sits there and says, you know what? You left him with someone on the island for me to find. Nothing is secret to me, especially not humans lurking in my garden of mutant paradise. He's so small, so human. And as he puts his hand over this little child, she wakes up, and of course she realizes it's a dream. Well, Captain Britain's over here having crazy lighthouse-induced dreams as well of I'm going to call it a firefox. Is it a firefox or a firewolf? I don't know, but firefox just makes me think of Firefox, so we're going with it. And this firefox with a sword down the middle of its back, and it's running along. So Betsy follows it, and she follows it to a monument of Apocalypse, and on the plate it says, "He will use us, we can use him." Now, what that means, that may be a little bit on the nose, but I mean, come on, man, at least put it in like Latin or something. Anyway, she eats some of this fruit, and then the dog basically says, "Look, you can trust me, Betsy, I'm a good girl," and runs off. And when Betsy wakes up, she wakes up to Shogo chewing on her purple hair, because purple is delicious, and it's definitely the best flavor ever. So Captain Britain just kind of, blows it off with, "Well, you're his mother." But when she goes up and talks to Remy about it, it's like, you brought him here? We have crazy druids and webbed seal people trying to attack us, right? Anyways, Gambit and Jubilee end up arguing over her going and getting the kid, and kind of how ridiculous it is, like I was saying. And the druids show back up, and they show up, and they basically inform Betsy Braddock that they recognize her as Captain Britain, and they inform her about Coven Aqaba, who is their enemies, and they threaten the health of these entire lands. And basically they're magicians just like the druids, and they believe they're going to attack. And just like that, there they are, they're attacking. So as this fight is going on, Apocalypse is mentally speaking to Betsy Braddock about the Coven Aqaba and who they are. And he's like, "Look, they were my servants, but they made the mistake of thinking that their magic put them on the level of their superior. They were wrong. It's a heresy. And they thought that I would spare them in the end, and that is also a heresy." Anyways, Apocalypse gets long-winded about some stuff, talking about how it's great that a mutant, which they call a witch breed, can bear the flag of Britain and actually claim Britain for Homo Superior. That's a fine thing. And Betsy's like, "Look, I'm doing my best to handle this issue out on the front yard, and the voice in your head." And he's like, "Okay, allow me to handle this." And she's like, "I don't want your help." And Apocalypse makes the point that they destroyed the Lighthouse to strike at you. And if you don't hurry up, they're going to strike and destroy your brother the same way. It's time for you to get to the other world and reclaim it. And she makes the point that I can't leave this place undefended. And Apocalypse is just like, "Then I will defend it." And Apocalypse steps through the gate, just absolutely handles the Coven of Aqaba in like seconds. And all Betsy Braddock can do is say, "I said I didn't want your help. What are you doing here?" It's like, "You're welcome," I think is what you meant to say. And Apocalypse just tells her, "Look, if you want your brother," and this is the second time he's having to tell her, "if you want your brother alive, you need to go now. The corruption is spreading, and every moment that passes, you're losing him." And she's once again making the stand that, "Look, my family's under siege here. I have to defend this." And he summons this awesome looking long-handled hammer, and it's just like, "I will defend the Lighthouse." And he then, Gambit's like, "Look, I'm staying here with Rogue. I'm not leaving her with him. I need her." And she tells Gambit, "I need you here." Just a second ago, she didn't need nobody, but now she needs Gambit. And then she tells him, "Look, he can't hurt her, and he won't let anyone else hurt her. Please, I will never again ask anything of you. And if he hurts her, I will take it on my soul." What's that even mean? "I will take it on my soul." If she gets hurt, then I'm gonna take it out on your tail. You know what I mean? Anyways, and he then reaches out to Jubilee and says, "I will watch the child as well." And she's like, "Nope, no thanks." Jubilee says, "Look, I'm going to take Shogo back to Krakoa first." And Apocalypse just reaches out with his hand, and suddenly the baby's gone. And it's like, "Shogo, where is she?" And Captain Britain's like, "That's impossible. I brought him through." And when they get there, you see Shogo is a giant dragon now. Or at least that's how I took it. Or is this dragon just responding to her yelling Shogo, as far as like this dragon's completely unrelated and he's about to just attack them? I mean, lot left to answer there, I guess. So for my review of the book, I would say I definitely like this better than Marauders. There's some people that will definitely disagree with me on that, but I enjoyed this better. I'm not saying this book was without issue, because it absolutely is. It honestly has a lot of disjointed parts to it. Like, why would Gambit? I mean, why is he dragging Flower Rogue everywhere with him? It doesn't make sense. It's not addressed at the end of Excalibur 1. It's just, you have her turn to Flower Lady, and you have Captain Britain show up. It's not addressed to why he's dragging her around on a boat with Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde in this book, this is 2 books in a row that Kitty Pryde is completely unlikable to me. I mean, Gambit is sitting there mourning and concerned and worried about his wife who is in this flower coma, and she's sitting there busting jokes after the fact that, like, look, I'm worried about this. This is a big deal. Way to be a complete jerk there, Kitty. Stop calling me Kitty, it's Kate. I was talking with the comic aficionados about this recently. All of Marvel Comics recently, they seem to skip the big fight. There were a couple opportunities here that they had to have really good fight scenes. The webbed feet seal people, that could have been a good fight. It could have been some real danger to the characters, and instead it's just kind of handled in a couple pages. That could have been a good fight in a whole issue if they wanted it to be. Then they had the Coven that showed up, and it's handled really quick by Apocalypse, which is fine. It was actually kind of neat. He shows up, the rest of the team's struggling, and he just shows how powerful he truly is. But at no point during this book, or even at all during Marauders, do you feel like the heroes are in any kind of danger. There's no threat to them anymore, and they're not pushed. They're not, there's no limitation to them. To me, it would have been great if they were being overrun, like, completely. There's concern there, and then Apocalypse shows up, fights off a wave, and then basically says, you go, I will hold this. And then you end this book with them going through the portal and Apocalypse basically facing down an army of this Coven. That would have been awesome. I think maybe the main problem with this book is the pacing. Things seem to jump. They go from her jump. They can't find this lighthouse. They don't know where the shore is. She jumps in the water, and suddenly, next thing you know, they're there with the boat as well. It seemed jumpy. I don't know. It wasn't perfect, but like I said, I am enjoying the fantasy elements of this, and I hope that issue 3 is better. I personally, I know a lot of people are saying, look, Excalibur was horrible. I personally still preferred this to Marauders because I didn't feel like Marauders was about anything. The only thing that really happened in Marauders number 2 was them making a point to Sebastian Shaw and them revealing Kitty as the Red Queen, which everybody already knew anyway. Anyways, guys, overall, I would, if you had like tiers of recommendation, this would be a low tier recommendation. If you're really into the fantasy aspect of it, I would pick this up. I definitely wouldn't put this on my pull list ahead of Absolute Carnage number 5 or the Annihilation Scourge Alpha number 1. Regardless of what you thought about it, I hope, I respect your opinion. I hope, and that's, we can differ on opinions on books and not have to be at each other's throats. That's what makes the community great. This division that's suddenly become, if you like this book or don't like this book, I'm on the opposite side of the fence than you, isn't the case in my opinion. I feel like we're all in the same yard, you know what I mean? Some of us just like basketball more than soccer or whatever, I want to discuss comic books with my friends, not go out and hate on a comic book so I find a new bunch of enemies, you know what I mean? Anyways, guys, that's all I got. I hope everyone had a good week, or is having a good weekend, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. That's all I got. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a like and a comment below. Thanks, guys, for watching. Real Comic Stacks out. Quick bonus, the cipher for next one is Slay the Dragon. So there's that. Thanks, guys. Out.